Welcome r/EntitledParents. Entitled Mom, Hey Teenage Girl, Let My Son Grope You. This happened when I was 13 and was attending a male friend's birthday party. We attended the same school and a lot of other kids from our school were also there, along with their parents. As I gave my friend his present, I wished him a happy birthday with a hug. When he was cutting the cake, another boy from our school, who was a notorious bully, stood right next to me. He kept trying to touch my breasts. I was already quite developed. I kept telling him to stop, but he wouldn't listen. He kept trying to put his arms around me and trying to grope my chest. His friends were standing around us, and I could hear them snicker. Finally, I'd had enough. I yelled at him to get away from me. My friend's mom, the hostess, asked me what was wrong. I told her what the bully had been doing. She sternly told the bully to apologize and to stop harassing me, otherwise he would be asked to leave. Now the bully's mom, stepped in. She asked my friend's mom why she was scolding her son. Friend's mom explained what the bully had been doing. M's response was something like this: "I don't see what the big deal is. This girl hugged your son, why can't she let my son touch her?" Then she turned to me and said, "You need to stop being so stuck up and learn to be friendly. If my son just put his arm around you, what's wrong with that? Stop complaining." I told her I didn't like her son and didn't like him touching me. Friend's mom told her to stop making a scene and that her son needs to apologize. Acted indignant, and as she stormed off, she again said something like, "If that girl is okay with your son touching her, she's probably okay with all boys touching her. You're just being rude to us." My friend's mom was absolutely wonderful. She asked if I was okay and told me I had done the right thing by telling the boy off. This was my first encounter with an entitled parent outside of my own family, that is. Edit. I want to thank all of you for your supportive comments and the awards. Thank goodness you had someone on your side. I was a very undersized kid. When I was about 10 or 11, one of kids down the street kept trying to kiss me. Mind you, he was about 6 and my size. His sister was my age, but way bigger than me. One day she held me down so he could kiss me. I couldn't understand why I was angry, but I was. So I spit on him. He ran in and told on me, and don't you know my parents marched me back down the street to apologize to him? Guess who opted for a spanking and 2 weeks grounding rather than say sorry to either of those little fuckers? I'm 50 years old now, and I still think of how unfair that was. Your experience was not 4 decades ago when consent wasn't even a thing. The you had to deal with should be ashamed of herself. She slut-shamed you and topped it off with a huge helping of rape culture. I feel like slapping her. I'm so very sorry that happened to you. The mentality back then was like a female was a second-class citizen. How many women and young girls were sexually abused or raped? The first question police would ask, what was you wearing? You dressed like a slut, you deserved what happened to you. Complete assholes. Thank God a lot has changed. Thank God you stood up for yourself, and I'm not sorry to say, but your parents were major assholes. Their daughter was sexually assaulted, and they wanted you to apologize. I hope they changed as you got older for the better. I would also want to slap the snot right out of them. Abuser in the making, boy and girl. There was a court case where it was 100% clear that a man had been watching his neighbor, a woman, undressing in her room through a gap in her curtains. Eventually he was overcome with lust and broke in and raped her. The judge acquitted the man because she left a gap in the curtains for him to watch through, so she was asking for it. One of the more subtle hints, I suppose. Edit. I was asked for a source and couldn't find one. Irritatingly enough, I heard it from a trusted source though. This was something like 1960s or 70s I think, so maybe not too surprising I couldn't find it. Should I remove the comment? I was 11 years old in 1969, wearing jogging shorts and a t-shirt, when a gang sexually assaulted me in a public park. My mother and I met with someone at the courthouse, not sure who interviewed me, since I was too young to go into the courtroom to testify. My shorts were white, so every stain stood out. Blood, dirt, booze, cigarette burns, other The man was kind, but he still had to refer to my police statement and ask me questions, and he asked me why I was wearing such revealing clothes. I was developing fast, but still didn't need a bra at that age. I was a typical young kid. I said the only thing I could think to say, these are the clothes I wear when it's hot. Rape culture was alive and well then, and it's still just as healthy today, even if it's undergone a facelift or two. When I took a swim class in high school, I was one of only a handful of the students that did not know how to swim, yet a creepy boy would grab me and drag me to the deep end so that I'd have to hold on or drown, and he broke me, and when I reported it to the teacher he basically slapped the boy on the back with a "that a boy." I wonder if the teacher would still be slapping his back if he'd obliged and started death gripping his bait and tackle shop. High fives all around, right? Hey, I panicked, and it was the smallest thing I could find to hold on to. It's unfortunate that shit like this still happens on the regular today. When I was 16, there was this girl who'd, every friggin' day, grab my ass. It went on for months and no one did anything about it cause I'm a bloke, so I took matters into my own hands. The night before, I ate a metric, or 12 craploads for you Americans in the audience, of Indian food, and told my mates about my plan. When she tried to grab but the next day, I ripped us right into her hand. Seriously, my asshole roared like a dying mammoth. She was mortified as and everyone labeled her as contaminated for the rest of her time at the school. High school is great with a sprinkle of autistic bullshit. If you were my daughter I would have told you you did the right thing and I'm very proud of you. I would also speak to that parent and or the kid's father. As a law enforcement officer I would explain what charges could be brought up against the child. This would document a potential pattern. I'm a father 3 boys and they have a good idea what would happen to them if they were to have done something like this. I'm sorry this happened to you, and perhaps that young man. I'll think about this again in the future. Good for you. I'm so glad you had enough sense of self even at that young age to bring attention to it and voice your non-consent. I'm a lot older than you, and when I was younger I was always told to be nice, or it wasn't a big deal. You need to act like a lady, and a lady does not make a scene at work. There was a guy I worked with in a large company where we were both adult engineering professionals who thought it was his life duty to put women in their place by harassing them. He grabbed me between my legs in a staff meeting. I was stunned and I was shocked and didn't know what to do. My boss at the time went to ours on my behalf because he saw it. My boss and I were both punished for it, for making problems, and it was probably not that big a deal and we were wasting their time. How dare we make those kinds of accusations? The next time the guy put his hands on me in a meeting I stood up and screamed at him to get his hands off me. Again, I got in trouble, but said to both higher management and ours, well, you didn't advocate for me when I didn't make a big deal out of it. I'm going to scream every single time he pulls this on me from now on. I thought this was a zero tolerance company. The guy left me alone after that, but ended up getting fired a few more years down the line for harassing women non-stop. Ours at the time told him it was inappropriate to come to them on my part, no matter what he had observed. They told him that they had him tagged as a troublemaker now, and that he would not see any kind of advancement or movement to other positions as a result of him being a troublemaker. He actually left a few years later as they made good on their promise to not let him advance or move. Not he is a huge higher up at Caterpillar. He told me before he left, let this be a lesson to us. Do nothing. Just leave. It screws us and lets the assholes get away with whatever. 1. You did the right thing too. That mom was awesome for standing up for you. 3. I'm raising 3 boys to our 10. They learned no means no, and if a girl or boy says no it means stop it right then and there. BC they cops/teachers will be the least of their worries after I get my hands on them. Yeah right, don't fuck around with that shit. My dad used to pull my hair and poke me and shit like that till I was so pissed off then he would act innocent and send me to my room calling me a bitch for yelling at him. If I was with you in that situation, I'm 13 BTW, I would have slapped the living white Disney bully shit out of his goddamn soul. And when his mom comes to scold me, I would tell her that her shitty, little failed abortion would have taught him to be more respectful before either the cops or allegations get involved in this deep hellhole that your family has caused not only here, but in the school he goes to. Then beat the goddamn Karen personality that this Mount Everest sized dumbass. I got a little hard, did I? It disgusts me to know there are kids our age doing things like that, and even more disgusting, that parents are okay with this, and taking their irresponsible cruel kid side. I hope this doesn't leave a huge emotional scar on you. It's a good thing you told him off like that. It's not okay to grope people without their consent to do so. This boy sounds like that in 10 years he may be in jail for sexual assault, rape, etc. because his mother hasn't taught him how to respect others. I'm sorry this happened to you.